table in San Benito. Table Church is getting ready for, we're getting ready for Easter Sunday, and I hope you can make it to the Table Church here on Crockett Street because we're going to have mariachi. That's right, for Easter. Hey, who knew? It's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. So I hope you can make it. Again, that's a week from this coming Sunday. This coming Sunday's Palm Sunday, and then it's Holy Week. And there's a lot, by the way, a lot of activities. First of all, Living Last Supper as at St. Paul Lutheran Church in Harlingen. We're going to be there. It's going to be a fantastic evening, a reenactment of the Last Supper. And then on Friday night, right here at the Table Church, the Good Friday service, the service of darkness. Always a great service every year. Just 1 hour of your evening. We'll begin at 6 o'clock. And we'll go through the 7 words of Jesus on the cross. So that's our Good Friday service. And then on Sunday, our Easter service. And again, mariachi. It's going to be fantastic. Be here at 10:30 on Easter Sunday. And it's also going to be the last Sunday for Faith Without Answers and Job. We've been going through the book of Job for Lent. We're going to culminate with talking about Job from Job 19 on Easter Sunday. This coming Sunday, we're in Job 42, but this past Sunday, we're in Job 38 through 41, where God finally answers Job. And so Faith Without Answers has been just a fantastic series. I hope you've been reading the book of Job with us here. It's just a fantastic book to be in, no matter what time of year it is, but especially for Lent, when we're asking some of the hard questions of life. I want to ask you this, though. When we think about Job and what's going on in Job 38 through 41, how many of us at some point today thought, God has this wrong? God, you've got it wrong. Oh, yeah. You might not have said it out loud. I certainly don't say those kinds of things out loud because, well, I'm a pastor. Who would ever say that? But God, you've got this wrong. Yeah, we've all been there. It's in the back of our minds a lot of times. And again, we walk through life, and especially when life starts throwing us curveballs, we begin to think God's got this wrong. Whatever it is that's going on. Like this wasn't supposed to happen today. And all of a sudden, life is going off the rails, and we think and we say, God, you've got this wrong. I could have done better than this, right? And well, by the way, when we start saying that, we think we can manage God. But we do this way more often than we want to admit. We look at what God is doing, whatever it is in our life, and we're thinking, I could do this better. And we try to. We try to control it. We try to manage God. We try to manage Jesus. All of this is at the heart of Job. By the time you get to Job 38 through 41, God is finally speaking. He's been silent for the first 37 chapters. And Job has been questioning all of this stuff for the previous 35 chapters. And when God finally speaks, he's not saying, you know what, you kind of misunderstood. No, Job's already said, God, I think you wronged me. And then God, he starts speaking. He talks about creation. He talks about then these two huge creatures, Leviathan and Behemoth. We're not going to get into all that today. But he's basically saying, hey, I can't. You can't control these things. I do. But in the middle of all of it, Job 40, verse 8, is the key to the whole thing. God has two speeches here for Job. And in both speeches, it comes down to this. You think I'm wrong. Don't you, Job? He says, would you declare me guilty to justify yourself? Wow. You know, that's going beyond a lot of the things that were going on in Job. But along the way, Job did say, I think you've wronged me. And he's wanting to put God in the dock. He's wanting, this is a big lawsuit. He's going to take God. He wants to put God in the courtroom, and yeah, we're gonna have some accusations here. God, you've got this wrong. Would you declare me guilty in order to justify yourself? Now, God asks a question, And how many of us are... It's a very pointed question, because the reality is, oh yeah, we would. We would declare God guilty. No. Don't sit there and say you wouldn't. No, we do. We do. The moment we try to control life, the moment we start to try to win at everything, the moment that we are bent on saving the circumstance, saving the situation, saving ourselves, saving whatever it is we can hold on to, that's the moment that we've declared God guilty in order to justify ourselves. It's a devastating question. Yeah, Job 40, verse 8, I encourage you to go there, just read the context. But God is making sure that we understand that our biggest problem is self-justification, and it is the human project. Self-justification is a human project. We're always trying to justify ourselves. Even in the little ways, that's kind of an inkling as to the way we think about ourselves in the big things. You know, ever got in a conversation with somebody where you're trying to justify yourself and get defensive? Yeah, me too. Been there, done that, do that all the time, or more than I should. That's it. That right there is just a little taste of what we're trying to do with the big questions in life, as to who controls life, as to how we are trying to manage God. It's all about self-justification, and it's Christians do this. Like, oh no, justification, that's only about, God justifying us, God justifying the sinner, that's only about conversion. The first time we do this, everything else is sanctification. No, you know what? Even in our sanctification, we're still going back to the justification question. We still try to justify ourselves all of the time. So, faith without answers. God's not going to answer Job. He doesn't ever give Job the answer that he's looking for as to why all this stuff has happened. But he does probe Job's heart. He asks a question. Would you declare me guilty in order to justify yourself? He goes right to the heart of the whole problem of the human enterprise. In fact, we've seen, you read the book of Job, and that's going on with Job and his friends. Yeah. And what's funny is God doesn't just say, hey, this is what you're doing. He asks a question. Why? Because he wants us to think about it. He's after our hearts. You want to know why that is? Because he loves us. This is all grace. This is grace for Job. It's grace for you and me. So he's bringing us to the point where we have to be solely dependent on Jesus. We can't manage Jesus. We're not going to control Jesus. But Jesus is constantly giving us grace. Constantly giving us things that we don't deserve. His love for us is unstoppable. And there are many times throughout the day in which I realize Jesus is loving me again, and whatever was going on, I don't even deserve that. But he does it anyway. He does it anyway. It's unconditional. It's unstoppable. You hear me say that all the time. Well, yeah, here it is. That's God's speeches to Job. God's unmanageable. God's grace is unmanageable. Jesus can't be managed because his grace is unstoppable for you and for me. That disarms everything. That submarines all of our self-salvation projects. All this stuff where we're trying to justify ourselves. That is our conversation at the table. Going to be more of this on Sunday. I can't wait. Job 42. It's going to be great. So, take some time this week. Join us for Palm Sunday here at the Table Church, 10:30 on Sunday. And if you have no place to be on Easter, I know many of you have places to go for Easter services. That's great. You go there. But if you have no place to go, join us here at the Table Church, 10:30 on Easter Sunday. It's going to be great. Celebrating the resurrection of Jesus together as a one body. Celebrating the Jesus who loves us. Until next time, that is our conversation at the table. Remember this, and again, I just told you I was going to say it. I'm going to say it again. Remember this, that Jesus unstoppably, unconditionally, and absolutely loves you. He always, always has you.